Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will learn how to validate or test the selectors in Power Automate Desktop. So please watch this video till the end so that you can understand it completely. And if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe it. So let's get started. In Power Automate Desktop, we have got a new feature which is to validate the selectors while you are capturing the elements from the portal or from the Windows application. So today we will learn how we can do that. So first of all, what we will do is we will go to browser automation, and from here what we will do is we will take launch new Microsoft Edge. Okay, here what we will do is we will type www.google.com and set the state as maximized and change the variable name to browser. If you want to keep the browser2 as the variable where the instance of the browser will be stored, still it will be fine. And then you can go to on-error property where you can set the retry policy in case if you want to continue the flow run even if this action fails, you can choose the options accordingly, right? For now I will keep it as it is. I will go back and then I will click on save. Okay, now what I will do is I will right click and say run from here, and now here you can see that the page is launched. Now what we will do is we will test the selector. Okay, so we'll go back to the Power Automate desktop. Here I have to go to UI element, and then from here I have to click on add UI element. You can see that UI element picker is available now. So let's do one thing. We will select the Google search button. So we will press Ctrl and left mouse click in a combination to capture the element. You can see that element has been captured. I will click on done. Here you can see that this button is captured. I will double click, and now I will see that you have this option to test the selector. I will click on the test button to test the selector. From here you can choose the web browser window, and by clicking on repair you can repair the selector. Go to the selector and capture it. So this is the selector which has been generated. Now here you can see that the repaired selector is displayed below. You may observe the changes applied to the elements of the selector in bold. You can cancel if you don't want to proceed, right? So I will click on OK. And now what I will do is I will click on test. I have chosen the title of the browser, which is Google, and then I will click on OK. It is highlight the selector, which means our selector is working fine. Okay, let's say if we are willing to make some changes here. So I'll go here, and instead of using the name as button, what I will do is I will choose the ordinal, which is like index, correct? And then I will press on test. As you can see, there is a green mark, which means this selector is valid. Now what I will do is I will use the focus text field on web page, and from here I will choose the selector that I have created. Then I will click on select, and then I will click on save. Okay, so let's run the bot and see if it is able to identify that selector properly. Here you can see that we have changed the selector, still it is able to identify, which means the selector modification that we have made, that is still valid in our case. Now go back to the UI elements and let's generate an error. What we will do is here we'll make the ordinal as 5, which should fail now. So I'll just click on test and choose the browser instance and click on OK. You can say that error has been generated. Any moment when you realize that the selector is not valid, you can click on repair, and then you can choose the element that you want to capture. You will get this window. You can click on OK once you are satisfied with the selection, and then you can again work with this selector. Right, we can see that it is able to properly identify the element. If you want to add multiple version of the selector, you can click on new, and then you can add the element. You can press Ctrl and left mouse click. Selector has been captured, and now if you want to test it, you can press test. You can see that it is still able to identify the selector. If you want to disable a selector, you can right click on the selector and then click on disable selector. You can repair the selector by right clicking on a specific selector and you can choose selector. You can also test a selector by right clicking on the specified selector. You can create a copy, and also you can move it up and you can move it down, right? And you can also delete the selector if you want. You can click on delete. It will delete the selector, right? You can click on three dots where you can find the other options, which is create a copy, and you can also rename the selector. For example, if I want to rename the selector, you can rename it as BTN Google search, right? Other option is that you can click on text editor, where your selector will be shown in a line, and you can modify your selector as per your requirement. For example, if you want to add some index, or maybe you want to have this Google search into a variable, so you can create a variable outside and you can use the variable by clicking on the select variable. So you can directly specify this variable name, and then the value will be populated accordingly here, right? I can click on disable. You will again come to this hierarchical view of the elements. Now you can click on save, Now let's test the selector. I can right click and say run from here. And this time again you can see that it is able to highlight that element which we have selected. We are using focus text fill on a web page to focus the element, to highlight the element. So focus text fill on web page element can also be used to highlight the specific element where you want to perform the operation. This also can be used to highlight the text field where you want to populate the value on your web page, right? So this is how you can validate your selector. You can modify your selector in your project. Let's use a variable in the selector. So what I will do is I will take a set variable, and here what I will do is I will name the variable as selector name, and here I will give as Google search, right? Now I will go to UI element and then select this input submit Google search to, and here what you can do is you can enable this text editor, and here you can remove this, and from here you can search selector, which is your variable name, and here also you can do the same thing and select selector name, correct? If you want to trim this value, you can go to selector again, and here you have some properties which can be utilized to trim the to modify the string. So here I will choose the trimmed, then I will click on select. This I have done just to showcase how you can trim the string. It might not be required in your case, but this is how you can use the specific attribute of a string variable. I will click on save, and now what I will do is I'll drag it down so that it can use the variable, and now I will run the bot. You can see that my bot is still able to identify that element. So this is how you can use the variable inside a selector, correct? So if you like this video, please click on the like button and please subscribe my YouTube channel, and if you have any question, please post it in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.